All right, everyone. Welcome on in. Happy Monday. We got bit with the bot bug right away this morning. But we're back. So I figured we would finish how this guy looks. Try and get him all done. In here. And then we'd decorate the top of this a little bit more. I want like a bit of an altar up here. And we got to flesh out behind it quite a bit. And then maybe we can look at the bear cave again. And I think he needs some stalactites and stalagmites in the bear cave. I think that would be really cool and add a lot of personality to the cave. We already have those built from level 1, so they'll just be kind of dropping it in. But that's sort of the game plan for this stream. Kind of get that out. And then maybe off stream tomorrow morning, I might look at I think I'm going to look at optimizing level 1 a bit more. Figuring out a good way to make meshed houses. Bring them in. Merged houses, sorry, not meshed houses. Bring them in, figure it out. Get it going. But for right now, let's look at this guy here. And how do we want to build this? My first instinct is foliage mode. And we're ooh, what in the fuck is going on there? We're going to drop singles. Specifically these ones. That just shows you how much bigger this is. Than the other ones, because if I place that in there, it goes pretty much right to the roof. The fact that this is so much smaller is kind of crazy. That's fine. We'll fix the scale here. And I think I want to turn this in. Kind of place it like that. Maybe a little bit more in the middle. And then we can hold our Alt key and duplicate. And this just gives us the ability to place this around. I'm going to turn off fog. And I'm going to turn off lighting. It's just going to help me see a little bit better. You just got to be a little careful with our pillar placement. We're going to hold T down so we can't accidentally select that. Fog mesh again. And then we'll leave that side alone. And we'll just take these. Hold our W key, hold our Alt key. Kind of okay. We got them placed. We'll just tweak each one how we need. Kind of like that. Oh, I forgot to put the music on, didn't I? I apologize, chat. I apologize. FP, welcome on in, dude. I saw you yesterday on Razio's stream. I was hanging out with him. Excuse me. Hanging out with him last night. There it is. Let's get the volume up a bit more. There we go. Thank you for stopping in. We are knocking out some pretty wild designs here for our largest burial mound. It is going to be a big one. Lots of space. I'm glad I've been mentioning Monster Hunter to him a few times. Him and Silver. Silver's a little bit... I don't think he's as into it. But I'm really glad that Razio has taken such a great liking to it. Because it's a really fun game. And it's very pure in its essence, that it is very much a pure game in terms of it is just gameplay loop. You get in, you find your monster you want to hunt, and you get out. Like, it's not a game for people who like super cinematic stories and stuff like that. It is just pure gameplay. And I'm glad he likes it. You're just changing the inside of this. Maybe you change this to Dirt 2. What is Dirt 2? I like Dirt 2. We're going to change to Dirt 2. No more leaves on the ground here. There's no reason that there would be leaves in here. It's technical, but also mindless. Well, just because something doesn't have a big story in it doesn't mean that it's necessarily mindless. If anything, I find games that emphasize storytelling to be a little bit more mindless in their game design. They don't think about gameplay loops. They don't think about... tend not to think about replay value. They want you to just kind of absorb the story and then move on to the next game. Which is... that's fine. It's everyone's got their niche, everyone's got their audience. But yeah, when you focus on core gameplay mechanics, you just want people to log in, have a good time, play it for a long time, That in and of itself is a talent. All right, this is looking pretty nice. Let's add a couple puddles. Something like that, eh? You can literally just paint puddles on in this engine. It's so fun. Little water trickles down from like the roots. And maybe we can have a puddle here. Maybe a couple puddles here and there as well. Just to split this up. You can change this to lit mode. You can see all the lovely reflections. How that's gonna look. There we go. All right. So that's good there. Let's go back into our foliage and let's get this door flipped around. It's always a good time. I have desktop audio off, which is good, so you didn't hear that Discord notification. So, let's go ahead here and add some doors. And then we'll add some walls. Then we'll decorate it. So, we have 15. We should have 15 doors. Every doorway needs a door, whether it's on or it falls off. So we'll just go into select mode here and we'll size this to exactly what we need. It's going to be pretty damn humongous. If I'm being honest, I don't know if this is that the right way to approach this? Just scale everything up? I don't know if that's the right way to approach this, guys. Let's try. We'll delete this side, and then we'll see if that is the right answer. Let's have it about yay big, maybe a little bit taller. And maybe we just have something over the top, just to kind of fill it in. I'm just not sure how we're going to do this. We don't really have like a clump of dirt. Let's change this out here a bit more. Honestly, maybe we just make one. What do you think, chat? Should we just make one? I think we should. Let's just go into Maya quick and let's make a model that will kind of help close these gaps for us. I think that'll make a nice difference. I think that will help pull this thing together. I like that better than just making a really giant, comically large doorway. Now this is kind of like a tomb slab, so it's supposed to be sealed. It's not supposed to be open. But I still do not like how, like, just making one that's just comically larger than the other ones that we have. They can be a little bit larger. They don't have to be the exact same size. But they shouldn't be like 50% bigger. It would look too jarring, in my opinion. So, let's do this. Let's try this. There we go. So something like that. It's about the proportion we want. That's the size we want. So if we smooth this out, let's do something like that. Something like that. So we want this thing, I think. I don't use sculpting a lot on this. Yeah. So we're just kind of... We're just kind of making shit up here. And what we're doing here is just kind of making a more organic shape than what the regular kind of slab would look. And yeah, we can just puff this out. Tuck that in, puff that out a bit, smooth it all out. That's looking nice. Smooth it all out. Who's here? Who's saying hi? Oh, it's a bot. Welcome, Rumblebot. But yeah, we're just kind of smoothing this out. Something like that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Now the problem is, this is way too high of a poly count. So we're just going to re-topologize it. Pretty clean. So yeah, we're just gonna knock this in. So something like that. Yeah, just keep knocking this stuff out. 1, 2, 3. So we got to go 3 up here. There we go. There we go. Kind of looks like a chocolate bar, not gonna lie. Maybe I got Halloween on the brain. Do you have a decent Halloween FP? You're still there? That's good. I carved my first pumpkin in like 20 years. I think I shared it. I think you saw it already. But yeah, it was a fun time. I took the day off from streaming, relaxed a little bit, saw some scary movies, watched Nightmare on Elm Street, the classic slasher film. There we go. So you got this lovely piece of geometry here. And then we're just going to kind of pull some verts a little bit. Okay, so then we want to take this and we want to use this guy and we just want to straighten this out like that. I had maybe maybe 10 kids on Halloween, so not a huge busy night, but I think I had 0 last time, so it was starting to get rainy out though. And when things start to get rainy, you know how it goes. It's just parents don't want to take their kids out anymore, and they just kind of call it easy. A lot of parents are going with their kids on Halloween around here because it's a lot of younger kids. So I imagine they just pull them all in. Kids don't mind playing in the rain, but the parents... There we go. So that's one. We may need another style, but for right now, this is going to work. We're just going to drag this to the bottom here. And just call this dirt pile ceiling. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Is our cairn in here? Yeah, so SM... I don't know, maybe not under here. Let's just do it in here. SM, dirt, mound, ceiling. Maybe not mound. Dirt, wall. Dirt wallow one. Short. Short underscore hanging. Because it's upside down, right? So that will help. Miscellaneous. Got this guy here. Druid. Yeah, we want this one here. Got the color there. That looks good. That's good there. We're gonna do 3. There we go. So yeah, now we just got to change our LOD. About this far away, 0.25 there. We want to make this 40%. then we go to LOD2. 1.2. 0.12, sorry. 15%. Save. Okay, so that's done. Drag this in here. Right there. We're gonna make it movable. Turn off static shadows. And then density doesn't really matter. Scale doesn't matter. This isn't going to matter too much, but we do want a little bit of culling just in case. We can cast stat shadows, I think. We just don't want a static shadow on our thing. Yeah, that's fine. And we want a block all collision just in case. You would never really get up there, but you do want to block all collision. And we should be able to just single plop that in the ground. Make it a little bit bigger. So that's that. I'm looking for a cairn here. Blend, we're going to take this to 10. Okay. So then we're going to take these. Like this. There we go. So that's good there. There we go. There we go there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're gonna get this going here. Spread this out a little bit more. That's good there. Let's see here. Let's go there. So that's good there. That's good there. So that's what we want, right? Nice, relatively even spaced. A little bit more gap in the middle. Okay. So that is a nice, evenly spaced, nice big tomb. Lots of stuff going on there. There we go. Couple of tomb doors knocked over. And then we need to add some walls in here. So we have a lot of really nice options for that. And we're just basically using this rock cliff asset because it turned out excellent. For this, I didn't build it for this, but it worked out. There we go. That looks good. That goes there, and then we're just gonna find a couple of rocks, fill it in. And then, yeah, we're just going to plop a couple in here. That looks good there. That's good there. All right, that looks good. I need to step out for just 2 seconds, and I'll be right back, okay? Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And, yeah, we're going to get more of this fleshed out. I just need to step out for just a minute, and I will be right back. We're back. Sorry about that, guys. Let's get this finished here. So you can have a big rock wall for that one. What if we did a different style of rock for over here? Then we can bring this down to a more reasonable size. Then we can take that off. I think that's going to look pretty good. We're going to move this guy away for a second. We just figure out a creative way to place these stones on top of each other. Then bring this guy down. And then we'll just fill it with little rock at the difference, and that should be good enough for me. I think that'll be fine. Select, pull this over. It up, flip it over. A lot of tricks we can do, sort of cheat things to get it to look the way we want it to. Maybe shrink it down a touch. Single. Select. There we go. Make this a bit bigger. That looks good there. Then we can add another basic wall here. And it's basically, we're just playing around with the tools we have to get the shapes that we want. Let's go here. Come on. Let's tighten this up. That's good there. So now we need to fill this hole. Shrink that around. There we go. There we go. There we go. And then we're just going to drop some small rocks to kind of fill in those gaps. I think that will look really, really nice. There we go. That looks pretty good. That looks good there. That looks good there. We're going to put a big slab of rock right here. So there we go there. And then we just got to do the other side here. So yeah, once we get these walls blocked in, we'll start looking at some other elements to this thing, but we're just kind of building the foundation. Let's get that a little bit bigger. That's good. Let's go here. Let's tighten this up. This is here. Let's see here. What should we put in there to fill that gap up? Let's get this camera speed down a little bit so I can work easier. There we go. Yeah, that's good. I was playing Dragon's Dogma 2 again. Having a great time. Found out a couple extra stuff that I missed when I was playing it earlier, which is always good. That is a good sign of a quality game, is when you can go back to it and you can find new details. That's always a strong sign. Let me put that in there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh, sorry. I was talking about Dragon's Dogma. Sorry, I get trapped in my own thoughts when I'm building stuff. But they updated the game and it broke the mod that I made for it. So now I can't freaking play the game anymore. I don't want to play the game if my sword's not in it, so I'm talking with certain people in the modding community and we're going to see if I can get a fix, but for the most part I don't really want to deal with Capcom. I don't want to deal with Capcom's crap. Who does? So yeah, that's been my past couple days off stream, is just I was enjoying some Dragon's Dogma. And now it's been kind of ruined. Go here. There we go. I don't know if this will work. No. I wish we could, like, flip the scale on this guy. But we cannot. Go. That looks pretty nice. There we go. Goblin, welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. Let's do that. Let's get this straightened out. Let's go there. Let's do that. Let's get that in there. There we go. Look at how nice this looks. There we go. There we go. That looks really good. There we go. There we go. Let's add a couple skulls here. All right, now we can start selecting these. Let's do that. Turn that way. For some reason, the skulls always want to face away. The odd one can, but I want it to be pretty rare. There we go. That looks good. That's looking good. Did we put a field in here, or did we do it in the, Yeah, we did. I can't remember. Hold on a second. Hold on, chat. Yeah, I can't select it, so it must be a mesh. Okay, so that's just a mesh. So we're just gonna go back into select mode here. Yeah, I don't care about that. That's fine. So that is in line with this. There we go. There we go. Keep things nice and organized. There we go. Doesn't that look cool? We're gonna flip this door over. And there we go. There we go. Then we're gonna grab a light. We're gonna make this a static light, and we're gonna make this like 3. So what is the next step on this thing? Let's go here. There we go. There we go. That looks really nice in there. So let's get the top. And then we will bake the lighting, and then we'll take another quick glance through everything and make sure everything is working the way we want it to work. Let's get that down. Okay, so now we got the weeds fixed. We're gonna fix how we align these stones. Like this. That's good there. We're looking really good here. So we're gonna just kind of rock this guy up here. Actually, let's do this as well. Use this one, it's a little bit more square. Sorry. Get rid of those. going to pull this up a bit. Pull it down a little bit. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so this is perfect. Okay, so that's there. There we go. So that's a nice little like offer altar section there. Let's rotate this a bit. And then that looks pretty cool. Should we add some mushrooms, chat? I think we should add some mushrooms. That's good there. There we go. What do you think that looks like? I think that looks really good. Let's add the smoke. I think that looks really, really cool. Let's bake the lighting and let's see. So we're going to be kind of stuck for a minute, but it'll be okay. Build lighting only. Thank you. And we're going to get some new lights in here and we'll see how it looks. So, let's talk about so Dragon they were talking about the Dragon Age stuff over the weekend. It looks like they peaked out at a little over 80k, so they beat their launch day peak on Sunday, but it's still not solid. Like, I'm guessing they are, if I were to guess for a game like Dragon Age Veilguard, their budget is a 10-year dev cycle and they rebranded and redid their game. I think about halfway through, maybe a third of the way through their dev cycle. The reason they did that is because Anthem came out and Anthem flopped. They were hoping they could make a game as a service like Anthem for Dragon Age, and when it flopped, they dropped it. What does that mean for budget? Well, there's a lot of debate on whether or not game as a service is more expensive than a single player game or not. I would say it definitely is. But I'm not an expert on that. But I feel like if you have to have servers, you have to have maintenance, you got to have content creators on staff constantly creating content, which you already kind of do for a dev studio, but the fact that you're going to have a team dedicated to putting out updates for a game that's supposed to be game as a service and a live game, it's just more work overall. Now, you're not going to have as fancy of VFX, you're not going to have as fancy as stuff in terms of story content, and story content tends to be a little bit more expensive. But you're still going to be pumping out loads of content. You're still going to be pumping out loads of stuff. And I think overall it tends to cost a little bit higher. I think one of the things that makes like Grand Theft Auto so expensive, Halo games are so expensive. Those are usually the top of the bill in terms of budget, in terms of cost, and I think a lot of that has to do with multiplayer elements to it. So the fact that they went into that and then abandoned that after, I'm guessing, Anthem failing, I would say they need to break. I think they were hoping it would be somewhere around, I think they need to sell around 2 to 3 million copies to break even. Now, if you look at what Dragon Age has sold in the past, I think that would have been doable if it was a good Dragon Age game. I think Origins wasn't super huge. So this says, according to Google, 3.2 million. Okay, so if they sold as well as the first game of their series, they probably break even. Dragon Age 2 sales. About 2 million. Overall, Dragon Age 2 is pretty underwhelming. So people didn't like it. But it sold faster than Dragon Age Origins, but fell off faster as well. And yeah, we're looking at surpassed 2 million sales, but not 3.2. Inquisition will be their best-selling game. It sold 12 million units. So, I'd imagine, yeah, they needed to sell about a quarter of what their last game did to get into the black. I would say they're probably yeah, so let's take a look inside. All right. This didn't look as good as I hoped. Six. Something like that. And then we're going to try and build it again. But yeah, so they had to realistically hit a quarter of their previous sales to break even for Dragon Age. I'm guessing they sold less than 500,000 on every single platform. Now, this is the launch weekend. They could get higher. But I don't think they're going to make money on this game. And if they don't make money on this game, they lost money on Anthem. And I think they lost money on Andromeda. That is about 8 years, maybe 7 years of not turning a profit for your company, for a studio. That is probably going to close BioWare. I don't think they're going to stay in business. But Dragon Age Inquisition sold very well. It's their best-selling franchise. And that's because Dragon Age Inquisition exploded. So, in other news, I don't know if you guys seen this. For the Monster Hunter beta, it did about 450 concurrent players. So, well, while Dragon Age peaked at 80, Dragon Age Inquisition safely did about 5 times as much. That's pretty safe. But yeah, I walked away from the beta of Monster Hunter. I'm just kind of looking at this. I don't like where this rock is. I'll fix that after we're done baking. I don't like where that rock is. It's kind of just there. I might get rid of the rock there. Maybe just move it over here and get rid of some of these rocks. Kind of clean this area up a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's gonna be fine. But yeah, Monster Hunter, I played the beta. I was skeptical. I didn't think focus mode would be fun. It looked kind of like a weird casualization of the wound system previously in Monster Hunter Worlds. This is so yeah, the wound system was really smooth, and I think it's gonna be, it adds quite a bit to the greatsword gameplay. The dual blade gameplay I played a little bit of as well, and I had fun with that too. It's a pretty nice it's a pretty nice it's a pretty nice combat mechanic. It works pretty well. It works pretty clean. The problem is I don't know how the biomes are going to work. It feels like it's going to be like a bunch of maps. So instead of, and I think that's going to piss people off, to be honest. I think when it launches, people are going to be like, oh, this is I think that people are going to be a little bit disappointed in that because they're kind of pitching it as a fully open world game. And I don't think that's going to be the case. The level design, the way the map is built in the beta, it feels like a standard Monster Hunter level. It does not feel like anything particularly amazing. Something mind-blowing, something that's completely open. It feels like a well-constructed Monster Hunter map. And I feel like, unless they just connect them a little bit more seamlessly, I think it's going to be multiple worlds. That's the vibe I get from the beta. And I think a lot of people are going to be a little bit more disappointed. Now, they're saying they're going to reduce loading screens and it's not going to be this. So maybe there is like a pathway that you can walk that lets you travel to each map. But it plays like a classic Monster Hunter map. And the Wildlands map itself, sitting back on it, I don't know. I think it's, yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. It just doesn't feel as good. Okay, so this light is still not strong enough. Let's try this. We'll keep baking until we get it. It doesn't take that long to get the lighting right on this, so like to bake the lighting. But yeah, I honestly I think of the Ancient Forest. I think of even the Wild Spire Oasis. Like, this is definitely bigger. There's more area. But it felt like the Ancient Forest at least had a lot more going on than the Wildlands. Now, we didn't do everything there was to do in the Wildlands. And there was impressive technology being displayed, like the sand dunes can actually deform if a monster runs over it a certain way. It can actually crumple and deform the sand dunes, which is pretty impressive technologically speaking. Sandworms can make like sand holes. I can't remember what the monster types are called. I'm just gonna describe them. So there's some impressive stuff there. But substantively, now if I think back on it, and I'll admit I had fun, I don't know how good that map is. It almost feels kind of in line with what would be the last map that you get access to in Worlds, the volcanic one. I can't remember what that one's called. Which to me was probably the most boring map in the game. Like, it had some interesting elements to it, but it was pretty boring in terms of dynamic combat encounters. One of the better ones is the Rotten Vale. Ancient Forest is very good, and then the Upper Vale section. I can't remember what that one's called, but it's almost like an aquatic one, but you're not underwater. Those are some fantastic maps. Wildspire Waste is probably a little bit after that. And then the volcanic region is dead last. That one, again, not terrible. Has its own elements that are kind of interesting. And this one here in the Wildlands, which is the map that we got to play in the beta, it was bigger. There are elements of things going on in there that's pretty enjoyable, but like, it didn't feel as dynamic or as interesting to me as like the Ancient Forest. As the I would, I guess, put it better than Wildspire Waste, but yeah, just comparing those ones. I enjoyed the Iceborne map as well. The Iceborne map is pretty fun. So yeah, there was a lot kind of to take in, and I'm still kind of compartmentalizing what I played and what is going to be good. But I went from maybe not picking up the beta or not picking up the game, and then post beta I'm like, yeah, I'll probably pick it up. But yeah, there are a couple concerns, a couple things we want to look out for. One of the things I didn't like about the beta, but I think I understand why they did it, is they got rid of all the crafting. You can't make new armor, you can't make new weapons, you can't go through weapon trees, you can't explore that stuff, and I think that's mainly spoiler, but also I think it's just they want to focus on the new mechanics. They don't want you to be worried about grinding and getting all that stuff in. So they give you sample armors in the game based on the monsters. You can tell pretty clearly which is which. They got the frog armor, they have the sandworm armor, they have the lion character armor. All of those are in the game, in the chest that you can just equip. The equipment feels pretty clean. It looks a little too desert themed. And I am a little bit worried because I feel like there's going to be multiple desert maps, and desert is a boring setting. So I hope there is a forest map. I hope there's a little bit more going on. But I remember from the game, I remember from the reveal trailer, there was a lot of landmarks and elements I didn't see in the beta. So there's definitely more there's more to have access to. There's more that's going to be going on. And I think there will be an enormous amount of content. That being said, yeah, we'll have to see. I think it'll get good reviews. I think it'll get really high reviews, actually. Because it is a little bit like, it feels good, though. Like, it feels like Worlds. I don't think it's more casual than Worlds. So I think it's going to get the same Worlds treatment. I think it's going to be probably their best-selling Monster Hunter game to date. The beta's numbers are enormous. And while there is some criticism about certain elements of the beta, the bugs, there were some LOD pop-ins, so like character models would look really low poly. There was a few bugs, some disconnects. It is a beta, it is a work in progress. The UI is a little clunky for matchmaking, something that we discussed with Razio when we were streaming live. Yeah, it's gonna be... that's not going to improve much, I don't think. I don't think there's a lot of time. There's going to be maybe some graphical glitches fixed. I never had any crashing issues. It felt pretty stable. Frame rate felt fantastic. Much better than Dragon's Dogma. Looks, I would say, better than Dragon's Dogma as well. So like they're just a better team. They're working in the same engine. They're doing the same kind of stuff. Maybe a little less characters on stream, but not a lot less. So yeah, I think Dragon's Dogma 2 is a little less optimized and a little bit less capable of a team in terms of technical abilities compared to the Monster Hunter team. And the Monster Hunter team has been extremely talented for a long time. So like their games have looked fantastic in the PSP. So highly qualified artists. Okay, I think that looks good enough. Look at how creepy and dark that looks. That looks fantastic. So, we need to fix behind this. But I think this looks pretty cool. I'm going to take a couple screenshots, and then we'll try and fix behind it. And I think that's all the time we have. We had to bake this a couple times. So that killed my... Should we do GIFs? GIFs are a little bit more interesting. I think I'll record GIFs. So we'll do that after the stream. Not to worry about it. Let's see if we can bring this down. What is that weird popping? Do you see that? Oh, static mesh in there. I am going to flatten this out a bit. We hit the flatten tool. There we go. So that's fixed. And we can just smooth this out a little bit. Okay. And then what we're going to do here, so let's get rid of the foliage here because it's going to save us a little bit of resource, although it is quite cheap. We want our strength up a little bit and our race. Okay. Blueprints. Spline meshes. Okay. Let's bend this a bit. Okay. There we go. We're going to push this off here. And we're just going to kind of spline this out. There we go. Push this out. And then we can just Swap that there. Tweak the curve here. Oh. There it is. I'm really glad I figured out how to make this tool. It makes this stuff real easy. And then we can add another cliff. We can do an instance, actually. Let's do a foliage instance here. But yeah, I really like this rock cliff thing here. It's a fun... What did I drop in there? A little rock? We got a couple little rocks in here. Whatever. We'll leave it in there. One instance isn't going to make a huge difference. Then yeah, I'm just going to blow this thing way the hell up. Yeah, something like that. If we just kind of flesh it out behind and get that all working out. Hey, Horror, thanks for stopping in. Oh, Mark raided. Thank you, Mark, for the raid. Appreciate you stopping in. We are fleshing this area out and getting this looking just a little bit more pretty than it usually does. At least that's the plan. We hope over here. We are hopeful people. We like our hopium. Let's see here if we can drop another. And kinda blow this up. Do something like that. And then we should be able to kind of add something here. We'll go back into select mode. We want meshes, static, landscape. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. We're just going to add another cliff along here to kind of blend this cliff up. Kind of like that. And then I think we're going to call that side complete. And then maybe we'll throw in a couple stalactites and stalagmites in caves. And then we're ready to rock and roll. Hey. Oh, Pep's in here too. Wow, awesome. Gamer Grill's in here too. Nice of you guys to stop in. It's been, it's going pretty well today. We got a lot done here. We got this burial mound kind of finished. We kind of put the base on it. Now we got a bunch of rock decorations. We got a whole bunch of like altars here. The inside here's got a nice little gloomy kind of look to it. Lots of skulls everywhere. This whole kind of compound's just about getting wrapped up. So we're just playing around with it, getting everything where we want it. Nice little tree up top with the roots hanging under. Very cool stuff in general. This spline cliff and stuff here. I think all of this. Let's get these actually first and foremost. All of those belong under the Cairn Base 02. Yeah, and all of these do as well. Like that. That way everything is all tied into this. And so when I move this, I can move everything underneath of it. And then the burial site, this is all part of the burial site, so we can just throw this under the burial site. And we'll call this Spline Cliff burial site 01. And then we'll add another spline cliff here, so we can just go into our blueprints, find our spline mesh. And I'll show you this because I don't think you guys saw this yet. I don't know when Mark showed up, but I don't think you guys seen this yet. This is a really cool tool that dynamically spawns meshes. So we're going to have this here. We're going to tilt this back a little bit like that. And we're going to get this kind of in a position that we want. We're going to make this a little bit longer this way, maybe a little bit wider this way. Just kind of have it blend into the rock section like that. Maybe make it a little bit wider, and then we can just kind of get away with tucking that in nice and tight like that. Something like that. And then I can take this and I can go, well, maybe I want to make this a little bit longer like this. Rotate this a little bit more. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Now I want to make this, and I want to extend this thing. So we're going to hold the Alt key, and we're going to drag this point out. And now we got two meshes here. I can pull this out a little bit like that. I can grab this data point here, kind of tweak it in like that. This guy here, we can kind of start changing the spline a little bit, mess with the shape of the curve a little bit like so. Maybe I want to make this a little bit larger, so I'm going to just scale it on the green here. I can make that a little bit higher off the ground and do the same thing out here. Maybe I like, that's sticking in a little bit too much. A little bit like that. Pull it up like that. Now we got this beautiful cliff that blends in really smoothly into the terrain we built. And you get this sort of lovely looking sort of rock cliff that we're kind of building off the edge of this to make it look really nice. So then we can just take this guy here, alt drag him out, and just sort of pull it like that and go, I need this thing to bend more than it is, so we can take this point here and really kind of twist it. And then we can grab this point here and say, yeah, we want this to bend too. A little bit like that. And it just leads to some really unique stuff. I can also technically tweak this a little bit. It's very sensitive to the rotation, so you got to be really careful. When you do the rotations. You can actually like make this borderline threaded. It's kind of interesting. And then we can just take this guy here and go, well, maybe we want to kind of do something like that. And then maybe we just take this guy here and we're just going to alt drag just to force it to change its cliff type. And then maybe we can kind of bring this in and Okay, I don't like that. That had an unexpected result. So let's just do that. Got a little bit of a cliff there. But I think it's all right. We'll just stick something in here. So we'll go back to our foliage mode here. And we have some cliff stuff here, so we can turn this on, hit single, plop that in. And just kind of tweak this around and have this look kind of cool. Are you in Canada? Yeah, I'm in Canada. Outside of like really personal questions that would be, most people would consider humiliating, I'm a pretty open book. You can ask whatever question you want. I mean, I use my real name in my bio, I think, and in my other stuff. So like, I'm not worried about being doxxed or anything like that. I mean, the reality is, and this is going to make probably some of you guys uncomfortable, if someone wants to dox you, they're probably going to dox you. There's a couple things that you can do to make it harder, but if someone really wants to dox you, they're going to dox you. And that's something you should just, especially if you're going to get a pretty big following, you're going to get a lot of people who want to see you fail, who want you to quit and want to make your life miserable, because that's just how human psychology works. I need to bring this cliff out a bit more, I think. So yeah, to me, I kind of just let that stuff. It's gonna happen if it's gonna happen. So, a lot of my info is kind of available. Just like I said, as long as it's like I'm a pretty open book. I don't care if you guys ask me questions like that. because yeah, like I mentioned, the reality is if someone wants my information or know where I live, like I'm not going to necessarily give you my exact address because I don't think that's all that important, but yeah, if someone wants to find it out, I'm not going to cry over it because if someone wanted to do that, they can figure it out. It's not that hard to find that stuff, unfortunately. And most of your private information is legally, technically public. But yeah. Let's get this guy here. I think I want him like that. Just to kind of mix it up a bit. And then we'll lift this guy up a bit. Make him a little bit higher off the ground. And make him go that way, I think. What were you streaming, Mark? You usually stream during, usually around 7 or 6 Central. I think you're on Central Time. Was it Street Fighter and stuff? Was it the Fight Club? That looks pretty good there. Just doing these tiny little tweaks to just... This used to be just like a weird flat rock, and now you have a more polished, finished-looking cliff. I don't know if I have a picture of it. Maybe I do have a picture of it. Let me see. Yoink. Ocarina of Time. Right. You were playing that the other day. How long before this game is done? This game is... I'm aiming for late 2027. So 3 years from now, I'm hoping to launch. It'll probably be down to the wire like December. Just because I'm going to be scrambling, but that's fine. That is perfectly fine with me. As long as I get it done by the end of that point of the year, and whenever I set my release date, so probably August 2027, I'll have a specific release date, and my goal is to hit that release date no matter what. Simply because I am sick and tired of game developers and publishers just constantly delaying projects. It's extremely unprofessional, and I think people should be called out. Like, most people don't call people out for that. Yeah, you can't really see what I had before. Unfortunately, I can't show you the before and after, but trust me, this looks a lot better than it used to. It looks way better than it used to. Yeah, I'm tired of the unprofessional stuff. Alright, we got a spammer. Alright. Let's just get him out of here. I am doing it solo. I think I gotta do it in the actual stream here. I don't know if I can do it from Rumble Studio. There we go. Bye-bye. Thank you for your ability to copy and paste. Very impressive. But yeah, that is that. Let's go ahead and let's look at the big bear cave and let's get him a little bit more fleshed out. So if I'm walking along here, yeah, I want to be able to make sure that this stuff all is kind of closed off as well. But this looks way better than it used to. Frame rate feels pretty smooth for the most part. It gets a little bit slow here because there's a lot of lights at once. But if I bring it over here, it's a lot smoother. Which, for some reason, the performance is always significantly worse in Editor. I get like a 20 frame boost. Or even more than that when I just play the build. So the build is a lot more feasible. Well, that looks okay. But yeah, I want to add some stalactites and stalagmites in our cave section here, this big guy. That is a humongous cave, by the way. If you don't know what the scale is, this bear, I don't know if I have him in the game yet. Did I scale him correctly? I did not. So this is a 1-to-1 scale. This is about, on all fours, this is about twice as tall as a human. So like, that is a massive bear. I need to scale him properly to like 3/4 of his size. So a 25% size shrink. But just so you understand how big this cave is, this is a humongous cave. Absolutely humongous. But what's a cave without stalactites? So let's go throw some of those in. Content, meshes. I think it's under landscape. It may not be though. It may be under like miscellaneous or clutter. It might be clutter. Right here. These are the magic ones. So we're going to start with these, and then we'll place a couple of these around as well. But we're going to go right into our foliage mode, because a foliage mode creates instances rather than places the models in the actual engine. So it reduces everything to one draw call, and it makes it super fast and super cheap to render. That's how we can have so much stuff going on here, and the frame rate like doesn't move at all. It's because we're using instancing instead of using dragging the meshes out themselves. If I had the frickin' thousands of meshes in here actually loaded into my outliner, things would be breaking. They would be absolutely breaking. So, we got to change a whole bunch of settings on this. We want to make sure everything is movable. We want to block all collision. And we're going to have a cull distance. So that means after a certain distance away from the model, you run into culling, which basically means it disappears or it's hidden. And what that does is that saves us a whole bunch of memory. Saves us a whole bunch of memory and prevents a whole bunch of issues. Scale wise, we want a little bit of a random scale. I think we'll keep it uniform for the most part. But we're going to go from 0.8 to 1.5. And we're going to disable this. And we also want to Ground slope angle. We're going to just zero that out so that it will just place on anywhere we push it. Oh, let's do this here quick. Put that at 0. Okay. And then if we hit single, that work. We're also going to just change our thing to unlit so I can see a little bit better. It looks uglier. Certainly. Are these active? They're active, allegedly. Okay. There's 1, 2. Oh, it's because of this. Should be 360. I don't know what's going on. We'll put that to default then. Alright, so then we can grab this. Let's say we're going to make these actually be stalagmites, which I think are the ones that hang off the ground. So we're going to just do that. Shrink them down a little bit, and then we can just kind of place them like that. And stalagmites, they typically form where there's water, so keep them close and around the puddles a little bit. And if we add somewhere there aren't puddles, we can just add puddles, because puddles are pretty easy to mess with. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. You can have some there. Stick a couple right here. The scale is a little busted. But that's okay. Also, the soundtrack that you're listening to in the background, for those unfamiliar, is my game soundtrack. We'll just do that. We'll adjust accordingly. Like so. Pop you up there. There we go. Is there a story? There is a story for this game. It is basically like a Viking Western. And it's like the Ghost of Vengeance or a Retribution story, where your character is a former leader of a chief of a Viking clan that was hired by the king of this part of England, this kingdom. This takes place in medieval England before the unification of like William the Conqueror and stuff. So like you have Wessex, Sussex, and a whole bunch of other sort of fiefdoms where you have various different kings scattered throughout England. So this king comes, owns a certain hires this clan of Vikings to basically terrorize the countryside of his competing kingdoms, and basically they go around causing a whole bunch of havoc and mayhem, wrecking a whole bunch of stuff, typical stuff, just to disrupt. Actually, yeah, it's fine. Just so that he can they're not formally associated with him, so it's just sort of like it's a proxy war kind of stuff. Typical foreign policy nonsense that you see. You see that obviously a lot now with what you had with the Al-Qaeda and how they were used by the U.S. military to destabilize regions in the Soviet Union, that sort of stuff. So that's basically what their original goal was. Then they kind of became hard to control. They became powerful, and they were kind of messing up with everybody. And eventually, they all kind of turned on each other and mutinied the main character. The main character then gets left for dead. They think they successfully killed him. And he gets captured by the king, who he was in service to, but the king is not happy with him because he betrayed him and basically stabbed him in the back. So then he gets thrown into the dungeons and is basically put on ice. They wanted to execute him, but they decided he's too valuable of an asset, so they keep him alive. They throw him in the dungeons, and basically because his removal, it kind of creates a power vacuum. The clan just splits up entirely, and you have basically like 5 new areas, 4 or 5 new clans that spawned out of this old clan, and they're all kind of terrorizing their own sections of England, causing havoc in the kingdom. So what winds up happening is this guy eventually says, okay, we need somebody to kind of wrangle them back up and bring them to justice and get all this stuff to stop, basically. So the king releases your character from prison, and you're set loose, and you got to hunt down all your former people who you used to work with. So you're getting a little bit of revenge, and the king's trying to get his country back in order. Now, there's going to be a little bit more dynamics with how the king works and operates, and there's going to be more intrigue and stuff. The king is a very weak king, but he's also pretty cunning and deceptive and lacks honor. So he will have elements in the story as well, with some twists, as well as you just fighting out and getting some revenge on people who betrayed you and thought you were dead. Which kind of played like I don't know if you've ever seen the film. It's called Faster with The Rock. But it's a very similar plot line to that, with a couple of extra twists. The Rock was a driver for people who worked in a heist for a bank robbery, and they wound up shooting him and killing his brother, and then he gets thrown into prison because he was guilty of a crime. He gets released from prison, and then he immediately starts hunting those guys down who did him and his brother wrong. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie. It's a pretty simple movie, but the characters are fun. You get to see what everyone did in their lives after the fact. And so you just get a whole bunch of unique characters, and this guy just comes into the setting and kills them all. So, very similar kind of plot structure that what I'm trying to do with my game. And this is my first game, so story is not like I'm not a huge story guy when it comes to games in general. I like good, clean stories that read really quick and are not super convoluted. Like I think a lot of people when they think of a good story, they're really just thinking about like check boxes about certain stuff, and I find it very pretentious. Real stories have proper hero's journey, have proper structure to them, and have legitimately good elements to them. And I feel like a lot of people, when they think of good storytelling, they just think of like cliche elements that I find very tedious. But maybe that's just me being a hipster douche, I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be very similar to like your classic Western in terms of story structure, your classic Western retribution and justice. That's why it's called literally Rodin Retribution, which is Nordic for blood-stained retribution. And yeah, a lot of themes that play out in this game. Let's see here. Yeah, this is the kind of film I was going for. I'm not going to get too far into this because I'm on YouTube as well, so there could be a potential copyright strike, but basically you're hunting down all these people who have all these different kind of criminal sort of stuff going on. This song here is actually kind of like a priory or a monastery kind of theme, and that's because we were going to be doing we're gonna have a guy who converts to Christianity and is hiding amongst monks in a priory, and you have to find him in there. Now this takes place a little bit before Templars, but there were Order of Knights who were Christian who served the church at the time. So we are going to have Christian-themed knights in like very sort of primitive versions of what you would see from Templars coming out of this. So out of that level in particular. Then this level here is just like a wilderness area where you're going against a hunter, and he's going to have multiple phases. So first you're going to fight him with a bow, then you're going to fight him with a spear, and then you're going to fight him with a huntsman sword and a axe. So he's going to come at you with multiple phases, and it's going to be interesting. He's going to have he's going to have multiple pools of health, and he's also going to spawn randomly. So you explore the map looking for him, but he's not set in one space. When you enter a compound, you're going to get a percent chance of finding him, rather than we're gonna just tuck this in. I just want to tuck this in instead. Like that. Maybe a couple up here as well. But yeah, this one is a hunter. Then we have Slaver's Bay, which is the first level. And that is basically a human trafficker, slave trader who likes to torture people. So that one is probably one of the most outwardly psychopathic ones. And then the characters get a little bit more complicated as you progress through the game. There's going to be 5 levels in total. And, yeah. One of them is going to have twin bosses, so they're going to be brothers. Not necessarily twins, I shouldn't say twins, but... yeah. You're going to have that element as well. So you're going to have a multi-boss kind of thing. Multi-character boss, I guess is the best way to say it. But we want to keep things fresh. We want to keep things interesting. We don't want to be... we don't want to be too samey, right? I'm going to shrink this way down. Let's just do some copy paste. It'll be easier. I kind of don't like having to flip them all. Bring that up a bit. That's looking really nice. Oopsie. I'm gonna shrink that down a little bit. And then I think we want to do maybe a couple in here. But I don't think we can do a lot. Just because of how tight this space is. Shrink you down a little bit. I feel like I want this one to actually be kind of close to the ground. I think that looks kind of cool. Then we'll just alt drag this and shrink it way down. That up there. Like that. And then we'll get rid of these and we'll put this in. Oh, it's not on. There we go. There we go. Yeah, these require quite a bit of manual placement, but you can also do stuff like paint grass, paint weeds. It's got a whole bunch of fun features. That looks good there. I don't have a problem with that. I think this one here we can do. We're going to flip this one upside down. Just kind of walls that area off without walling that area completely. Plop that guy there. The scale on this thing is kind of ridiculous. This was made for level 1. So that cave we were doing there was pretty tall. It wasn't as big as this. It was pretty tall. Actually, it might be bigger than this. That may have been a lie that I just told you, chat. There we go. Let's change this to lit mode. Like so. Doesn't that look fun? That looks freaking fun. The only thing I don't really care for is this one here. I think it should be smaller. Let's make this smaller. I wish I could scale it all, like group it into one section and then just scale it all down. It would make this a lot more bearable. And I think we needed to go farther in. Just too close to the entrance. That's better. That's much better. Show fog. There's just not a lot of fog in here. Let's see if we can place some fog. And let's see what we can get out of here. You know, just drop some fog points in here. Now we got some nice fog right there. I think we dropped one in here somewhere. Maybe we didn't. Definitely dropped one here, though. Bring that a little bit lower to the ground. That looks good. Make it a little wider. Yeah, the fog effect just adds a lot of fun elements which you otherwise don't get. You can also click on this and just hit select all instances, and I can see where I placed my stuff. This gives me a little bit more. Let's move this right here. Yeah, now we can come in here and we can look at all this. We don't need fog deep in here because it doesn't really make sense for fog to travel that far. We can have some fog in here. And that's pretty thick, actually. Let's get that a little lower to the ground. I don't want your character to be blind. Yeah, that looks fantastic. I think that looks fantastic. What do you guys think? Yeah, Mark. Exactly. Well, it's 5:30. We're about half an hour past our usual time, so I think that's going to be it. I'm going to capture some footage, but I think I'm going to do GIFs. So for GIFs, I tend to do that off stream. So we'll be posting that on Twitter, so look out for that on Twitter. It's on my Discord as well. And I guess we can look for someone to raid real quick. Let's see here. Scavenger. Scavenger's our boy. Let's go say hi to him. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. It's been fun. I'm glad GG came out and Horror and Pep came out as well. It's nice of you guys. And yeah, we will let's give Scavenger a little bit of love. Hey, it went in. Usually it doesn't work the first time. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. We will catch you all tomorrow. Peace.